So you're all very familiar with Risk of Rain 2. But what if I told you there was an entirely different way to play the game? Well, Risk of Rain 2 has a VR mod with full motion control, and it is glorious. This is what it looks like on my Quest 2. It's got a surprisingly clear picture and relatively smooth motion controls. What you see on the screen are placeholders for where your controllers are. You can also spin a full 360 degrees in the menu. Alright, let's jump right in. I'm going to start as Commando and go through each character and give you guys a peek at what they look and feel like in VR, as well as just some thoughts generally about how the game plays. The first thing I noticed right away is this drop pod animation is jarring. You're just going to feel out of place right when you hit the ground. The controls really shouldn't be an issue at all once you get a feel for it. To shoot both guns, it's the right trigger for both pistols. The left trigger is the AoE ability, and the right grip is the machine gun. The left grip is your mobility. You move with the left stick and can sprint by pushing it in. The game is significantly harder in VR as compared to a flat screen version. You have to aim with your arms, you have to spin around your body to look around. You can't just, be sprinting all over the place like you usually are in Risk of Rain. But it does feel like you're really on this planet. You are fully immersed. Okay, up next is the Huntress. The controls are generally the same, so I'm not going to go through each and every ability with you. But the first thing I did notice was that the bow feels really strange in your hand. You actually shoot with a trigger rather than a pullback motion. The boomerang is always in your left hand and is thrown by hitting a trigger rather than doing a throwing motion. Same kind of issues with the drawback of the bow. It feels odd, it feels like it's almost forced right away. I usually try to time throwing it while I hit the trigger to make it look a little bit more smooth on video, but it doesn't always work out smoothly. The next thing I noticed was the movement about Huntress. At first it's really jarring. It feels like you're teleporting all over the place and jumping high. It could be rough if you get motion sickness from VR. Luckily, I don't really have issues with it, but once you get used to it, it's pretty smooth and leads to some really cool looking gameplay. The next important thing I want to mention is how big the mobs just feel. They feel giant. Even the small ones are as big as you are, and the bosses are absolutely massive. For instance, this Wandering Vagrant is massive, and it doesn't really do it justice on a flat screen, and you really need to experience it to understand what I mean. But there's nothing like hopping into a game like Risk of Rain where even these small beetles feel like they're towering over you at times. Okay, up next is the Bandit. Now the Bandit is my favorite character to play in VR. I think it's the best designed kit with the motion controls, and all the kills are just really satisfying to get. Aiming is a blast, the hand animations are great. But my favorite part, absolutely favorite part, is the left hand attaches to the rifle. It is so immersive compared to the other kits, especially Huntress. It blew me out of the water. Plus, it makes you feel like a cowboy.
This town ain't big enough for the two of us.
In my experience so far, Bandit is the most viable character to actually get a win with, although that could just have to do with my playstyle not being fantastic at the game. Even if this mod were a Bandit-only VR experience, it would be worth paying for. And that is the best part, you literally don't have to pay an extra dime. This is all free to download, which I will include in the description below. The best part of this kit is the pistol animation. Let's get real. Look at this. You feel like Han Solo blasting down stormtroopers left and right. Nothing can touch you. You just blasting them away. Just non-stop pistols flare. Just you and the pistol, and you're shooting things, and just the two of you guys, and you're blasting them, and that's it. You're just shooting away. Nothing can stop you from shooting. Shooting the pistol. Just you and the pistol, shooting them in the head and in the body with the pistol. Okay, up next is Multi. The first thing I noticed about Multi's kit is how good the weapons feel to aim. You really do feel like they're coming out of your arms rather than where you're holding the controllers. The best way to aim with this kit is to use your whole arm. The animations are very smooth when switching from long range to short range attacks, and the movement combined with shooting also feels really smooth and easy to control. I know Multi is usually a close range character, but the long range attacks feel much better, and being farther back gives you more peripherals as to how many enemies you're up against, because when you're close up, you kind of lose track of how many are around you until you're getting shot and you're just about dead. Overall, I like Multi's kit a lot, and I do believe it's possible to get a win with him. Okay, up next is the Engineer. The first thing I noticed with the Engineer is that you don't actually have any guns in your hands because the guns are mounted out of your shoulders. The bombs actually shoot from above your field of view. The landmines are thrown out of your left hand, and in first person you realize that your turrets are just about the same height as you are. It's the small details that do it for me, like seeing items appear out of your turrets or having your pet beetle guard staring at you that adds to the lifelike feeling of VR.
Good boy.
Overall, the Engineer's kit is probably one of the easier ones to use in the game. Although it might not be the most in-depth and the most action-packed, it does give you a chance to have your turrets do a little bit of the work, just take in the VR world around you, chill a little bit, and just have a good time. Okay, up next is Artificer. Definitely in my top 3 favorite, Artificer's kit transfers to VR really smoothly. All the abilities in first person look and feel great, and it really does feel like you're wielding magic, especially because everything is coming straight out of your in-game hands rather than any kind of weapon. Aerial combat at first is really difficult, but once you get it down, it's the most unique feeling out of any of the characters in this game. Definitely be careful if you get motion sick while playing with her, as flying around and moving with a stick could definitely make you sick to your stomach. Artificer is a really difficult character to play because she's a glass cannon. It's much more difficult to dodge attacks in VR than the regular game. Overall, I think it's possible to get a win with Artificer, but it would be really challenging. Okay, up next is the Mercenary. In my opinion, the Mercenary is probably the hardest to play out of all the characters in VR, and the least fun, which is a shame because I really like Mercenary a lot in the regular game. Although being able to swing the sword and actually have it register as an attack is super cool and immersive, the rest of the kit just does not transfer well at all, especially the Eviscerate and the Rising Thunder abilities. Being invulnerable and dealing a bunch of damage all at the push of a button when you have to swing the sword for a primary feels boring and flat. And by no means am I implying the creator of this mod did a bad job. They did a fantastic job. This game just wasn't created with the intention of being in VR, and that just means that some of the characters won't transfer well. I don't think I'd be able to beat the game on Mercenary, and I really wouldn't want to attempt that either. That sounds like actual hell on earth. Okay, up next is Rex. The first thing I noticed right away is how bad the left-hand animation is. I mean, just look at it. I get the struggle though. I mean, what else could it have really been when you think about it? Either way, Rex actually plays really well and is a lot of fun once you get past that left hand. Aiming all of the abilities is really fun, and at times actually feels easier to aim a secondary ability in VR when compared to the flat version. Overall, Rex is 100% a viable choice to beat the game with, and you would have a fun time doing it. Okay, up next is Loader. I was not expecting Loader to be this much fun. The hands are my favorite out of all the characters. Punching in real life makes you punch in the game, and the movement is fun, smooth, and exciting.
Wow.
The combat makes you feel powerful, plus Loader is a pretty forgiving character to play, so you're able to take a beating and still be fine. Using the grapple ability makes you feel like you're Spider-Man swinging toward or away from danger. The movement is so fluid that falling really feels natural. Flying enemies are still a bit of a struggle, but Loader's a strong character, so getting a win shouldn't be difficult at all. Okay, up next is Acrid. I love the hand animation. It's immersive, and swinging your hands in real life triggers the primary attack. The leaping ability, though, is probably the best part of this kit. The combat in general transfers really well, mostly because it's pretty low mobility other than the leaping. The way you swing your arms makes you actually feel like an alien dog ripping your enemies apart. It feels so badass to leap toward a boss that is 10 times bigger than you, like the Hulk in the Avengers. Acrid is one of the more fun characters to play as, and it's definitely possible to get a win with him in VR. Okay, last is Captain. Captain is a pretty fun pick in this mod. The shotgun is definitely the most fun part about this kit. Blasting enemies up close feels strong, and taking the time to hit enemies far away makes you feel like a true marksman. The rest of this kit feels just about the same as the flat version though, other than the fact that you can see his microbot floating around you at times. The main noticeable difference is the orbital probe and the supply beacon feel a lot bigger in first person. Overall, the Captain is a middle-of-the-pack pick in VR, but he's pretty fun. It is definitely possible to get a win with Captain, but it won't be easy. Anyway, that's, just about the rest of this, so see ya.